Let's travel.
Today is a pinning ceremony of these golden keys that basically means that I am now part of a global fraternity that is connected worldwide, right?
Okay, so custom has it that two Leclerc members will pin each a key on Nige.
And the idea behind golden keys is that the network has now expanded.
All right, here we go, folks.
Fiesta. Let's travel and see the world.
Much nicer than the
Let's
keys
travel
we use, yeah?
and see the world.
New kids on the block.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
I'm part of a society that I can call on anywhere in the world and just do what is required. If the need is required in another country, I can source somebody that side and get it done. If it's required over here, I can pull on the knowledge of Cape Townians this side and get it done.
So what you realize, because we belong to the British and Commonwealth chapter of Golden Keys, is this special tie that Nigel can wear anytime, any day.
Did you also get a bow tie?
Sorry, and a bow tie. Yeah. So bow tie there.
Thank you. Yeah. So Lake Lado is it is quite a journey. My journey was 8 years to get to these keys, and it wasn't an easy journey, but it's mostly your personality that's assessed to get you to this auspicious occasion.
Certificate was that as well?
Yeah.
Open this one. Which one? Opening this? I think it's this one.
Don't break it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
There we go.
let's nug it. So the entire association actually started with one concierge that needed help from another. And they then decided to share information with one another. And when I had the same experience in Cape Town that I needed help from other people, I realized I can call on concierges. And so that inspired me to look into Lake Lado and see how I can form part of it, because that is when you are now recognized to share and experience from other concierges. Yeah.
Africa, this is where Savannah.
Look this way, please.
Okay. Everyone, I wanted to actually do a welcoming, but it was done for me on 3 occasions. I'll do it anyway. Welcome. So I had to prepare this. I know Niall said we should always be prepared for the unprepared. Knowing myself, I don't stop this difficulty with the breaks thing. So what I did was I want to talk about myself, my journey, and then I want to give you guys some takeaway points. The idea was that because we've got other conscious members in here, and that question about why don't I have keys but you do often comes up. I just thought I'd share my journey because maybe that would make some sense. It wasn't that difficult though. So firstly, I didn't start as a concierge, right? I wasn't born concierge. As a matter of fact, at one and only hotel, I started as an airport representative. And the idea was that we represent the hotel as ambassadors at the airport. So I needed to know the hotel inside out. And Cape Town said, look, who are you guys? We're one and only. Okay, so what does that mean to us? There is no such thing as officers at the airport. It's not going to happen. And then that position became null and void. It was 3 months, and I was told that I had to choose between one of 4 positions, right? One of that positions was concierge, and it was the one that I didn't want. It was when it was offered, I said, look, skip that one. Let's work on these 3. And they insisted. They said, you've got the qualities for concierge. And I said, I don't. I'm looking at the people spinning over there. It wasn't like spinning. It was a motor that was on batteries. It wasn't stopping. But lo and behold, yeah, I'm as Concierge. And what happened was when I got in as Concierge, there was 3 people there. One left for Johannesburg, the other one was left for sales and marketing, and the third one was was Chris Moon. So, and older Irish gentleman who was my mentor, but he didn't touch computers or anything digital. And there I am, I needed training. So I literally had to train myself to do Concierge and create a system that will work for me. And it's a system I can tell you now, I can go anywhere in the world and I can open up a Concierge desk, providing that they speak English or understand English. And that's a system that I would love to share. I'll go around to hotels, it's all emo. I would love to share that with you guys because I learned it from the ground up. It was hard work. So just a takeaway there that often just trying to phrase this now, because I wrote this at 3 o'clock in the morning, this morning. Often the fight is hardest when it is your purpose, you know. You would push against it, but it's actually who you are. And once you lean in, you will start becoming. Okay, that leads me directly to the next point, which is actually tasks. So on school, the bullies, they would pick on the little ones, and I was that small dog in the fight. I just don't know how to back down. I'm not gonna wait. And so if somebody would come to me in class and say I'm gonna beat you up after school, I would just go right to him and punch him in the face to get it over and done with, because I'm not going to be that statistics, people jumping from a building. And it said that before they hit the ground, they're already dead. It's the fear of the impact that actually kills them. What I realized with tasks then was if something must get done, and I'm speaking to concierges here, remember, this is my journey. I want you guys to actually learn from it, also take from this key points here. If something must be done and you are there, you do it, you get it done. And if it's a task that's a team effort and the team isn't working on it and you've got a deadline, you get it done. Because I believe that the problem always revolves around the answer. Okay, if you're sitting with a problem, a situation, you are most probably the answer. So that is the key takeaway for tasks. I've got 2 more points, okay? And then a thank you, and there's also some words there. I'm gonna just go right over it, okay? So, contrary to what it might look like, I don't like crowds. And I often say to the students, or I always ask them to describe the best day for me. And it's always a club, or it's a party, or something like that. And I will say to them, my best day is if I'm alone, I've got a book, and I escape like that. And so the very best day for me was one day I surfed quite often back then. I went to the beach, actually from work. I just couldn't keep it in. I just thought the weather's gonna be perfect. It was actually starting to drizzle. I left, I took my surfboard. It wasn't actually in the car already in the morning. And I went straight there to Muizenberg, got on the ocean, and I swam out, and it started raining. And I thought, it's not gonna stop me, I'm going in. And I'm laying there, and I'm the only one over there. It was the best time of my life. I know there was a couple surfers looking at me thinking, you must know something that we don't know, you know. But there was no surf. It wasn't happening. But I learned a lot about myself over there. So that said, the key takeaway there was that I was never one to fit in with crowds, and I would rebel in cases like that. My brother didn't want me to go with him to clubs. Because I was, at 17 years old, I was banned from all clubs in Cape Town. Because I don't dance, so what do I do in a club? You know, I go have a drink, and then I pick on somebody lonely, and that becomes a fight, okay? Until I realized that I actually function good on my own, and I'm not saying that team effort isn't a quality we can use, but that is where I learned more about myself. So, what I want to tell you guys is that your personality is actually greater than a skill. And I'll get to my colleagues because all of them, they've got those personalities that I use as tools without them knowing it. And it's actually a force. So just take away there to use your personality, who you are, to become who you want to become. Use your personality when you speak to guests. Don't try to sound like me. Be yourself, Chad. Sorry. Right. And that's crowds. The other thing is two things I said I don't like crowds is one of it. But I now know why, and I can deal quite comfortably with crowds. I hide it very well. And then there's the other thing, public speaking. I hate it, okay? I really do. But after I did a course in public speaking at One and Only Hotel, I actually learned how to hide it very well, which I'm very comfortable. I don't think I'm scared of it anymore, but I hate public speaking. Nigel does it so well. So I had to do that course. And then, remember, I was on my own for a long time doing digital work. I had to create, I actually created this Excel spreadsheet over here that I started in 2010, things to do in Cape Town. This thing became so big, I couldn't use it because menus changed and restaurants changed and all of that. And it just, there was weather, there was a lot in there. I then spoke to HR one day and they said, hey, why don't you create a website? Which I actually did. But from there, I learned what Concierge actually requires. There's two things we work with. It's restaurants and excursions. And if you can break that up very well, you can sell very well. So just key takeaway there. After my public speaking issue, I studied it. I did the course, and I did the graphic design course also to help me with creating my systems. So if you need to do anything, educate yourself. It doesn't have to be in Concierge. There's books, there's people, there's video, there's a lot that you can use especially in our sphere to get to this level, guys. Okay, so just educate yourself. Okay, I've got one more point, and that is how I actually came to know about Lake Claydo. So our previous GM, one before Richard Lyon, was Clive Bennett, and Mr. Bennett arrived here, and exactly 3 days after Mr. Bennett arrived, he came from 12 Apostles, I believe. He came to my desk. Now, Mr. Bennett, he's tall, okay, and he's got his eyes is ice, and he's got this voice, and when he walks, he just strides. He's easy, but his presence demands respect. You know, things pull straight when Clive Bennett walks past, and he came up to my desk this one evening, 3 days after he arrived, and he said, I need a list of churches. Now, who asks that at 9 o'clock in the morning and in the evening? I need a list of churches. And I thought, okay, this is a trick question. He comes from 12 Apostles. I'm going to get it from 12 Apostles. And I found this is 9 o'clock in the evening. I said to Mr. Bennett, give me 1 hour. I actually don't have a list. Well, I'll get you one. Give me an hour and a half max. And I found 12 Apostles, and they don't have a list. And I thought it was a lie, but I thought local cares. I'm going to phone Cape Grace. They don't have a list. Table Bay, Mount Nelson, Cape Real. Nobody has got a list of churches. I promise this man, I'm going to give him a list by 10 or 10:30. And I created a list. I had it done. I got it done by denomination, seating capacities, mass times. You know, I thought, let's break it up good. And I gave him, I emailed him the list at 10:30, actually, hour and a half later, and I get a phone call. I was suspicious when I sent the list because it said Adele Bennett. I thought maybe Adele is his second name. But it's weird, you know. And I got a call, and it was his wife, Adele Bennett, who phoned, and she thanked me for the list. And she said, "Where did you get this?" I said, "Actually, I had to make it. The guys at 12 Apostles didn't want to share this."
Awesome.
And then she says, "It's a good list." I said, "Thank you. I will share it with the guys, the other hotels." And she said, "No, don't do that. You don't share the stuff." And I said, "Okay, Mrs. Bennett." And I dropped the phone, and I thought to myself, why wouldn't I share the list? And I didn't share it that evening. I did eventually, a couple of days later, but the next day, I was working late shift, I was laying on my bed, and I was thinking about this statement, don't share this list. And I asked myself, how do concierges do it? If they need help, other hotels, and the guy down the street has the answer. If they had shared this information a long time ago, there wouldn't be a lot of questions. We can focus on things that are more difficult. And I thought, no, let me Google this, and I searched, and I stumbled across this Leclerc Society, and I read up about it, and I was impressed that it was a bunch of concierges that came together, and they shared information. And I thought, no, I need to do some research on this. And that is how I came to know about Leclerc. Then there was talks about 3 to 5 years, and then you can have golden keys. And we had Madnia at the hotel, one of the other concierges, an older guy, and he said, I've been there more than 7 years at that time, so I'll also have keys. And Nardus was at Hilton at the moment, and we decided we're going to walk to Nardus to say we want keys. And we came there, and yeah, so we came there to Nardus, and I said, Maddie, you talk, because I don't even know where to start. And Maddie almost had a fit when I just told him, it don't work like that. You know, it's not just about 5 years and 3 years. There's way more to it. And he was upset about it. And I had to, I think Nardus contacted me and said, look, guy, don't do that. Okay, that is not how things work. And I said, look, I apologize because I didn't know. And that is where I met Nardus. I'm glad Maddie took them there, because I might not have been up here, you know. And we started the journey, and the conversation about how to go about it, and so yeah, that is my journey for how I got to know about Leclerc, because it is about people. It's not about years. With or without keys, it's still going to be about people. So just bite it out, guys. Okay, so these are my thank yous. Thank yous do become longer than that, so I need to skip a few. Obviously, I want to thank God, because He orchestrated all of this stuff. I think He used Madney to put me in contact with Nardus. There was just so much going around. It couldn't have been me. You know, I didn't put any effort into it. I just did Concierge, and somehow the dots connected. So I'm grateful that he put these people together to get me up here. I want to thank Amanda over there. She has been running around to make this day happen. You know, I felt so, and I know we started an email, but no, WhatsApp, it's, WhatsApp email, this whole thing. Because she had to work on dates for Anne, for myself, and venues, and there was just a lot going on, and it was impossible for anyone to pull it off as graciously as she did. So Amanda, I really acknowledge you for that. This morning, actually, I'm looking at these names, and I'm thinking, I'm going through this list, and I start on top again. I'm thinking, Amanda, I almost cried. Really, that might not mean a lot, but she did put in quite a lot of effort, so I'm really grateful for that. And I want to thank you for your time. You did make the time. You can see there's no other GMs here on a Saturday. And they came in last night, this morning, and she's still up. So I'm really grateful, and for your time. But it's more the fact that you allowed me back into the hotel, because I also could not get here if I wasn't in a hotel. You had to say yes somehow, somewhere, because I remember, and I'll get to that part actually, but so I'm going to skip that part for now. But just so you know, Anne said yes. Not to the question to me coming back to coming back to the account. So the other person I want to thank, and she's not here, is my mother, right? So this woman, I left in 2020 when COVID hit, because I missed my mother. I was very busy at this hotel. It was completely different for me back then. Way more relaxed now. We're seated now, not standing, no back pains, you know. But the workload was really crazy. And if we had gone to a restaurant, my phone or tablet was always that pink light. If that went on, you knew it was an email. The green light was a different email, and then there was different colors for it. And I was never focused. So I live with this woman. I go home, I see her every day, but I still missed her. And I decided, no, when COVID hit, look, I'm going to take my hobby and I'm going to do that so I can spend more time with my mother, right? This very woman, so when I do anything, before I started, I completed in my head, whether I create something digitally or with steel, then the picture must be done in my head. And once it's done over there, then I'll execute it, because I know it's going to come out perfectly. And one day I was standing in the workshop at the back there, and my mother came past, like she's always seen me standing around, just standing and gazing into nowhere because I'm thinking. And she said to me, "What are you thinking about now?" And I said, she caught me, I actually caught myself thinking. I wasn't thinking about what I was busy with it. I was thinking about One and Only Hotel. And I said, I'm thinking about the hotel. I think I missed the hotel. And she said, so why don't you go visit? And the next day, got into my car. I came to the hotel because I thought I missed the people. And everybody is brand new people. The people that were on shift, I know nobody. And Gerard is at the desk at Concierge. So I wanted to see the Concierge desk, just see it, you know. I don't know, there was no reason behind it. I just wanted to see. And Gerard is at the desk, and I remember, you remember that conversation I had with you. But I have a soft spot for Concierge members, you know. I'll come to your hotel if I have to assist. But Gerard was sitting there, you know, and Gerard's the gentlest person, you know, at Concierge, and it looked like, man, this guy was carrying the entire weight. He was the only one on shift. And I thought, no, let me speak to Gerard and encourage him and tell him it's going to be okay. That he must just do that and that. And I left. I got home and my mother said, how was it? I said it was good. She said, so who was there? I said, nobody. And then I'm thinking, but I still feel good about it. I actually grew nostalgic, because I connected with a space. It wasn't the people, it was the industry that I missed. It was hospitality that I missed. And I phoned Feroz. I said, Feroz, look, check with One and Only if there's a position for me. Surely I was the head concierge. They should have something. There was nothing. I said, just tell him to create something. You know, surely there can be. And I thought, look, let me do the right thing. I'll put my name on One and Only's career page. Lo and behold, I get 3 phone calls from everyone else except One and Only Hotel. I don't know how that's linked, but it was Mark Nelson and Leo Koppie and all these other people phoning me. And I said to myself, if One and Only phones at such and such a time, then I'll go to One and Only. But if they don't phone at that time, then I'm going to take the offer at the first successful interview, because ultimately it was the industry that I missed, I thought. First the people, then the industry. And everybody said, just come. And I was still waiting on a call from one and only. And the date was nearing, and I'm not lying, one and only called on that very day and said, come for the interview, which was basically a meeting with 6 people in there. I had so much fun in that interview because I knew I was home, and said yes. So the very person that I left the industry for was the one to tell me to go back. And I'm happy now. I'm really happy to be back. That wasn't the last person though. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Is it okay? Okay. And then look, the others are you guys, right? The far and wide, the other hotels, those concierges. I'm really grateful that you guys are here. It does mean a lot for me. Now just put this forum together, and it helps us connect in ways that you might not know. I'm like, I've got friends everywhere now. I'm not a crowd person, but this is one crowd I can hang with anytime. You know, they're just that kind of people. So I want to acknowledge all of you guys because you are awesome. It's when I listen and I read and I see the input in that group that I'm also encouraged to continue, because you know you get to the point where the novelty wears off, but then you see, look, there is a greater need over here, and with support we can achieve what we need to achieve. Nadas has a plan, and we achieve most probably. And I spoke to the hotel school also, remember? And the hotel school, I said to them, we have to create a curriculum for concierge, because there are people like me who just want to do that. That's all I want to do, be, without me even knowing it. I was groomed into it. I became conscious, and I don't want to be anything else. So there might be students when they hear the story that says, I want to do that also. They promise they're going to come out and we can do feasibility studies, and then hopefully by next year, October, they could start with a rollout. I don't know how that's going to go, but at our desk, guest comes to us, you're nervous anyway, so if they come, I'll be nervous and we'll just get through it. So thank you guys. And then there is my team. So the conscious team, Gerard, Tashwan, Feroz, who's the other one? And Chad, the new guy. Yeah. The Winter Olympics actually reminded me in Japan, it reminded me a couple of years back of the quality of my team. So the table tennis team there, they were so good. There was just no show for any other team. And when they asked the coach for that, for Japan's table tennis team, what sets them apart so far from the others? I mean, the scores were ridiculous. When people would walk up there, some teams would just walk off. They walk on to be registered and walk off because they knew Japan was going to beat them up. And that coach said, unlike the other teams, he looks at your strengths and he uses that. So if you had a good backhand, he's not going to train your forearm, he's going to train your backhand all the time. And they won surely because of training only their strengths. When I heard that, I thought, okay, I'm going to take this to work and I'm going to look at the strengths of my team. I tell you what, when it gets quiet, especially in winter, then you get to learn, you get to know people, because now you can look at what they're researching, and that tells you more or less about who they are, okay? And I mean, I got individual reports of these guys. I know them. Without them knowing, I do know them. And Tashwan is, Tashwan can, and he can tell you about people, but Tashwan also has this knack for wanting to find out about the new restaurants and the changes in the restaurants. So I don't have to do that. He just needs to do that. And I'm going to rely on him to give us feedback on people and restaurants. So I use that strength of his. Feroz he's like a cop, you know. So Feroz is very standard driven. He is the king of SOP. He followed to the book. There are times that things have to be shaken up and broken, and he don't like that. But if you give him the business plan that checks out, then he will follow it. But he's not going to follow it if it doesn't make sense, and he's going to train it hard. He does that. Even me, look, I've been out for 2 years. I listen to what he tells me, and I learn from him. Okay, so he's the cop over there. Gerard has got the best personality. You know, Gerard inspires me a lot. You know, it takes work and makes it personal. He blends the two, and it works out. You know, he puts his personality in what he does, and I learned from him that I can do that. So, you know, I told you, just use your own strengths to get things done, but he introduced that to me. I don't have to be Tashwin, you know. I mean, I struggle with that. I mean, if I have to remember to do that, it's never gonna, it doesn't work. So Gerard reminds me daily. I look at him, we have the best conversations to actually use your personal life, your personality, put it into your work, and that will work really good. Chad is new, so no, he's not even here. But yeah, Chad brings life. Yeah, Chad brings life into the conscious team. Nadis and Muchi, I want to thank you guys, and also the Lake Clado Society as a whole for accepting me into this global fraternity, I feel like mafia, to showcase what the slogan says: provide service through friendship. It's impossible to do it otherwise. So I wanna thank you guys. I don't phone Muchi, okay, just WhatsApp him or something, because our phone calls were like 1.5 hours. That guy don't stop, you know. He doesn't stop. Man, I pull brakes so many times. But I learned from the two of them. They are so passionate about what they're doing. I just live into it. When Nadis is up and he's speaking, when we go to events, I'm like, wow, why can't I do that? You know? So I take from the two of them, and that energy that they have, that is the same energy with which I want to come and share with you guys. And then lastly, I just want to thank the operators, because we do we can't be where we are without these guys. I've got Denzel, who is a driver and photographer. I got Mookie, who does hikes and videography. And then I got a car that is the Mercedes version of the Porsche 911, because I couldn't get the 911. And that guy said, just take the car. When do you want to give it back? I said, next week. He said, no, I mean, like, when today? So, yeah. So we can't do it without these guys. We need everyone. This is what the society stands best for. This is what makes us so great. It's got nothing to do with just us. It's all of us. We are standing in a venue here of one of the most, I don't know what to call this property, but it's the best of the best. But it was given for free, I think. And here we are. Yeah. So. Thank you all for listening to all of that. I tell you, if it wasn't for those bullet points, yeah, I would have gone on forever. So I'm just saying, thank you very much.
Wow, Nigel, what an incredible speech, but well deserved. And as General Manager of the One and Only, it is my personal great pride and honour to welcome Le Clé d'Or today. And I can't tell you how proud we all are that Nigel becomes an official member of the Keys, of the Golden Keys today. As you know, or as I was reminding myself, Le Clé d'Or is world famous. It is a world and international accumulation of knowledge. It is not an easy journey. I think Nigel would agree with that, and I think members would agree with that. It's not an easy journey to join, but it is without doubt universally recognized as an emblem of excellence. It is the zenith of professionalism. It shows unwavering dedication to get to the keys, as an incredible personal dedication to make that journey, an unyielding commitment to deliver service, and of course what we all know about a great concierge, it is the ability to do magic. Because many times our guests sit in front of our concierges of all of our hotels and we ask you to pull a rabbit out of a hat. We ask you to find the table that cannot be found, a place on the tour that is impossible to get. You've missed the scheduled start of something but you still need to find a way to make it happen. And that's what I have learned. I've learned that the greatest concierge has the ability to do magic. And so today we bear witness to these qualities with Nigel, who is a warmly regarded and much respected member of our One and Only Cape Town family. And Nigel's tenure in our hotel has been defined by the unrelenting pursuit of excellence and service to our guests. So I thought let me go and remind myself, so the people who are not in the room today to acknowledge Nigel's achievement actually are our guests. And they would be the best voice of all. So who would be the best judge of this? So I wanted to tell you just 3 reviews that took me 3 minutes to find this morning that mentioned Nigel's name. And so these are the things that our guests said by name. Nigel, incredible from the very start of our experience to the very end. Such a great sense of humour. Nigel, the concierge, provided an exceptional service. Nigel recommended and secured reservations for amazing restaurants every night. He arranged excursions, transportation, nothing was too much trouble, and it was all organised with great spirit and humour. Twice now. And let me add my own experience of Nigel's ability to surprise and delight. A journey to be made in terms of experience and tests to be passed, and there's an interview that has to be met. And so Nigel knew he needed to do somewhere in a space where he could have privacy and peace and quiet while he did this online interview. And so Amanda suggested, there was a conversation, Amanda suggested, why don't you use Anne's office? Because it was busy that week and the suites were all taken, so just use Anne's office, be quiet, be private, be a nice place. And I was away traveling that week. So I have to tell you, sometimes if I've been away for a week, you never know what's going to be. Sometimes on the desk there'll be a little, I don't know, a little packet of biscuits that somebody left. Or it might be a little note from a guest, or it might be a little chocolate, or there's some flowers that Margaret found in one of the suites and so it'll come there. So you come back and there's something nice in the office of the general manager. Well, that day I came back and there's a flip chart in my office. And Nigel had used the flip chart to do some preparations, so that was good. And on the flip chart it said, Anne, will you marry me? And I thought, well, that really is magic. Because, you know, some people, I get a little chocolate or a little packet of biscuits, but Nigel, he found me a husband. This is excellence. I mean, this is what a concierge should be able to do. This is magical. So that's now the bar. That's now what I expect. Concierges all over the world, that's what I want. But Nigel's achievement today, I know, is not only a personal triumph, but it's also a collective success. So it's a collective result that belongs to all the members of the Concierge Association and of Le Clé d'Or. But it's also it's the unwavering dedication of the entire One and Only Cape Town family, because we are all very proud of Nigel's achievement. And colleagues who are here today because of the high regard and warmth and respect with which Nigel is heard. And that goes for Tashwin and the rest of the concierge team, but all of our One and Only family. Nigel, we are all incredibly proud of your achievement today. We bask in your achievements, and we use Le Clé d'Or as a constant reminder of your exceptional achievements, a beacon guiding us all towards continued excellence. I thank you, Nigel, for everything that you do for our guests, and I ask you please to join me in a round of applause to say welcome to Nigel. I will now hand over to our head concierge, Tashwin.
Thank you, Anne. Let me tell you quickly, of the Golden Key members that we have in Cape Town, we know Nigel tells long stories. We know Muchi is late usually. Yes. Fashionably late, I think he calls it. But yes, and I wouldn't believe him when he says, you know, it was for a different Anne. I think you caught him at the end. Yes, guys, like I spoke to Anne a bit earlier on, and before COVID, sadly we have to still revert back to that name. The Golden Key members was about 6,000 worldwide, which is not a lot. It's a small society, and it's a difficult process getting in there as well. That's why it's a bigger accolade for Nigel, that managed to get in as well. But after COVID, the members declined to about 3,600 to 3,800 members. So it's very small, and a unique society which, me and Nigel have known each other probably shy of 9 years, I guess. That we've tried for the keys, and when we got close to it, obviously COVID happened and that fell apart, and we've already done the paperwork for it. So well deserved. I mean, it's going to be an amazing journey. Obviously one's life completely changes towards, you live the values of the Leclerc d'Or inside work and in your private life as well, which, work fine for me. I haven't danced on any tables for the last 12 years. But it's good, all our guests, our international guests that travel the big hotels and that, they know a Leclerc d'Or member when they see the keys on them, and they know it's someone that they come to, for the right knowledge and the stuff that Concierge is supposed to do right, and the connections. We've worked hard in Cape Town throughout the last 10 years to build relationships with our suppliers, like Nigel said now, like with Paul and Atlantic Auto Exclusive, I can't remember their full name, to get vehicles. I haven't even managed to get that car, and I love that car, so I don't know what promises Nigel made to him. Exactly. So guys, enjoy the journey. It's going to be amazing. Mushi is going to take over for us in Cape Town for now, until I find my feet again. And then it's you and Jess, and lead over the years with colleagues and suppliers and guests. I mean, I have so many guests on my Facebook page, which I use for birthdays only. But yeah, enjoy, and if you guys have questions, I'll still be around as well, but this today is for Nigel, and I'm happy and I'm proud of him. I sat in on that Zoom interview that he had with London, and he really made me proud. My kids are not there yet. My son is 17, so maybe next year and that I can say he made me proud, but Nigel was the first one to make me proud with his interviews and that, because it was really good sitting in and listening to them answer these guys from London, because it is daunting. It's a daunting task, because these guys come out of a big city, London, and they ask us questions about South Africa, and they have a knowledge of what goes on in Cape Town, so you can't really wing it. It needs to be heartfelt, and it needs to be someone that lives and breathes Concierge, and they do, him and Jessica, so I'm proud of them. And Muchi, thank you as well for your dedication over the years. So let's enjoy today, and let's have fun with this. Are we going to wait until all the speeches and then pin, or do we pin now?
I wonder, Muchi, if you want to share a bit about Leclerc d'Or, or your definition of Concierge.
Right.
Because I've got a room of Concierges here, and it would really, even if you would.
It was all about, I think, from Anne, your introduction does tick all those boxes. Because what are we talking about when we talk about Leclerc d'Or? It's a society of international concierges, and it's a daunting task to be up there. Trust me, you get calls from Spain, from all over the world, I'd like to say, and they're just wanting to touch base with you, or possibly help one or two of their clients to get a table into Fin, the restaurant, La Colombe, all those difficult restaurants that you. But how do we, as Concierge, are able to pull all that? It's through your networks. So network is very critical. It's very important. The reason why we meet so often in our various spaces and all that. It's really to create those connections. We wouldn't be able to pull all this off without our business affiliates. So your transport company, if it's Jared, I don't know who used that company, that's your affiliate. So you need to make sure whatever you provide is an extension of what Jared does. The same applies with the car. If this is a car hire company, are they also living the principles of your 5-star luxury approach, so to speak? You know, that sort of thing. So that's the extension that we want to see happening in most hotels. I'm glad that we've got quite a sizable number of other hotels that are in here. And for me, the ultimate goal would be to actually see Cape Town having, it's such a destination for us to have 3 or 4 members. We should be having 10, 15 members, if at all. Once we get to that, which is our ultimate goal, then we can form our chapter like Nadas has mentioned. And it's really critical, what is this chapter about? What it means is then we are able to have our own committee down here instead of reporting it to London. As much as it's another chapter, it's a good chapter to belong, but what's stopping us as South Africa, as Africa, to have our own chapter of concierges? Because we've got some of the best 5-star properties, if not some of the best hotels, lodges and safaris and all that, but we don't have this liquid door representation on the ground. I think that's a lot of work that we need to do, and we cannot do this alone. I'm glad Anne is in this building at this moment, because these are the people that's going to help us as well. If Tiago, my general manager, doesn't know what I'm doing as a liquid door member, or when I run out of my on my shift and to attend a liquid door meeting in the back of my office and all that, I think once you start feeding back that kind of information, that kind of engagement that you do outside work as well, the powers be, in this case, and your general managers, and you will be able to then sort of support you. So the support for me right now, and specifically, is for us to be able to grow this society, we need that that buy-in. I can walk around properties and some of the general managers don't really know what it is about. I think the education part of things for us is really important, and we can only do as much. I think with the support of the powers be, this society can only grow bigger and better than what it is now. In a nutshell, that's all I can say, but living the ethos of liquid door, it has to be moral. Whatever you do, dealings, properties and all that, for as long as it's legal, for as long as it's moral, for as long as it's humanly possible. Those are your 3 keywords. Then nothing should stop you doing that. So yes, we do get kind of requests that sometimes are like, oh my goodness, where is this coming from? But I think we are better equipped in dealing with those and saying, yes, we can do it. And if you're going to say no, you know how to say it. Because if you feel it's not legal, it's illegal or whatever the case is, by all means, you're supposed to be able to say that, but in a respectful manner. So I think just by those 3 ethos, I think that's going to be a guiding line for any upcoming concierges. Right now, I'm looking in this room, I can see 3, 4, 5 concierges right now that we need to make sure that they're in. So just yesterday, we had a liquid door member from UK. He stayed at our property, and we had the same discussion because he's in the committee in the UK. So we had the same discussion to say Cape Town needs to, it's a destination that needs as many numbers in terms of liquid door members. But ultimately, it's what we do with that. Getting the keys is but one step. It's a good thing to have, but what it also means is a lot of commitment that you need in it. You can't put your reputation on the line for anything, to be honest. When you recommend a restaurant, you're literally putting your reputation out there. If the guest comes there, can say, well, that's the worst recommendation ever. As a liquid door member, you might want to go back to your basics or your research and just look and say, what can I do? Do I need to visit Fine and find out what exactly happened? And we always feel like we are behind desks or behind counters and stuff, but trust me, take time to go to Finn and say, hey guys, I'm struggling to get a table here. What can I do differently so that I get my clients into this property? So those are the engagements that you need to start doing as an individual per se, and ultimately introduce the concierges. So we've got better relationships, I think, in our own capacities with various restaurants or establishments. I think take time to use those and then eventually rope them into the chapter, the Cape Town Concierge chapter. So in a nutshell, not a nutshell anymore. That's it. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nigel Oosthuizen. So I'm the guest experience manager, and I just wanted to say a few words. So initially it was supposed to be a prepared speech, but one thing that I've learned from hospitality is that you have to be prepared for the unprepared. So I'd just like to say a few words towards Nigel. For the time that I've met you and the quality that you have brought to the one and only, you have represented not just yourself, but the entire tourism and hospitality sector. And I would like to applaud you for that, because for the knowledge that you have gained, not just for your department itself, but the way you kind of brought in your design, horizon, oh my word, horizon, wow. You know, when you stumble over that words. But I just want to say that your continuation to learn and excel with knowledge has really also molded everyone to also excel within one another. And with that, it also comes with humility that you have, the generosity that you have, time for every person, the way you treat your staff members, your colleagues, the guests. It comes from a pure part of yourself, and that you can't train to anyone. And I feel that you bring that out a lot with your skill set. It comes naturally, and for me, is that it is an honor to be part of your team. It's an honor to actually meet you, and I'm pretty sure any person that meets you has the same idea of you. And I just want to say, continue growing, continue learning, and the keys is it's just one step forward, and I'm pretty sure your future is going to look much brighter as well. To more golden nuggets and to more golden keys as well.